So fireworks in the Supreme Court. Let's see what Kapil Sibal, who was there in the court for the petitioners, has to say. He's joining me right at the very top as one of our newsmakers tonight. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Sibal. How do you read the Supreme Court's order today telling the State Bank of India to divulge all, I repeat, all details of electoral bonds? Do you believe the veil of secrecy that existed between donor and political party or beneficiary will now be fully exposed? Will the matching be done as a result of these details, or is that left to journalists and indeed perhaps activists to do?
Mr. Well, Sibal. I don't know about that, but certainly the donor's name will be known. We'll also get the alphanumerical number, which is the unique number of each bond, both issued at the time when the purchase was made and with the political party. So the alphanumeric number will match, and to that extent we'll get to know that this bond went to a political party.
Sir, but the reason I'm asking you this is because the suggestion is that even with this alphanumerical number, State Bank seems to suggest, or their counsel Harish Salve said, it's only for security. It's not an audit trail. The critical question, therefore, is of the audit trail involving matching donors with a political party. I repeat, sir, do you really believe that this will now happen, or will it be up to an individual party to disclose their donors who gave them this money?
You must understand, Rajdeep, that at the time when you purchase the bond, there is a particular bond with a particular alphanumerical number, right? Mm-hmm. That particular bond with that number will ultimately reach a political party.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Who would have got the bond.
Yes.
Right? And then encashed it, redeemed it. Right? So therefore, the party which redeemed the bond will get to know as to who gave the bond to him.
No. Mr. Sibal.
And the party who purchased the bond, the bank knows who that party is.
No, but Mr. Sibal,
now, in between, there may be several transactions. We're not concerned with those transactions. But we'll get to know that this particular bond of this amount was given to this particular party.
No,
and this was the name of the purchaser.
Mr. Sibal, the fact is...
And in most of those cases, the purchaser's name will actually be the donor.
Right, Mr. Sibal, but we've already got political parties, and for example...
There are several categories of bonds. One category is you do a raid. One second, hold on, just let me explain. You do a raid, and ED does a raid to a particular person. Within a few days or a few months of that raid, that person gives the bond. Now, there's no problem with that.
Yes.
Because we know who the donor is, we know when the raid took place. No issues on that.
Yes.
So that's not a problem. Then there are another category of bonds where the bonds are directly given to the party. There's no problem there. There may be a third category of bonds where the bond has changed hands. Now, you may not get to know then who the in-betweens were. So I think it's too early for me to say that we'll get all the information at once, but there's enough information to show a quid pro quo.
I'm going to come, Mr. Sibal, to the quid pro quo that you're mentioning, that you believe quid pro quos will get exposed. But the fact is, Mr. Sibal, you've got, interestingly, a few parties who've already disclosed the names of their donors, for example, the DMK. But others, the major national parties, have not. Do you believe that every party's veil of secrecy, whether it's BJP, Congress, Trinamool Congress, BRS, will all be lifted as a result of what the Supreme Court has asked for? Or do you believe there is still many a slip between the cup and the lip here?
See, Rajdeep, I am not. I mean, I possibly don't know the trail, but there will be many cases in which we'll know the name of the purchaser and we know the name of the donor. In many of these cases, because there'll be a direct transaction between the person who gave the bond to the political party after an ED raid was committed, or a person who directly gave the bond. For example, big companies directly gave the bond to the political party concerned. But there may be transactions where that trail may not be established. So, I can't possibly give you a blanket answer that every bond's purchaser, every bond's donor will be disclosed. But by and large, we'll get enough information to suggest that these are proceeds of crime, and this is unfortunately perhaps the biggest scam that's happened in the history of this country.
Now,
That's
one minute.
enough.
You're calling it the biggest scam possibly in independent India. You've used the word quid pro quo, but there are those who are saying that actually the electoral bond was a more effective way for corporates and individuals to donate money to a political party. It was not being done underground through cash, and that was preferable to the earlier system. How do you respond to that?
No, but cash, again,
How do you interpret that?
again,
Cash.
you're asking the wrong question. This bond that is given to a political party has nothing to do with cash.
Sir?
Cash is used by political parties in any case,
Yes.
because the maximum that any member of parliament can spend in an election is 95 lakhs. But what he spends in many states in this country, and some of the states where there are mines and other things, is in crores, hundreds of crores. Do you think that is done through bonds?
That's precise. So that's
That
precisely
cash
the
is in any
point.
case spent. And if you wanted to have a scheme, hold on, if you wanted...
No, Mr. Sibal, what I'm saying is you've used the word
Yes,
quid
you go
pro
ahead.
quo
Ask the
and
question,
scam.
please.
Are you telling me, Mr. Sibal, every electoral bond that was given, or possibly many of them were in return for specific favors? When you say quid pro quo will be exposed and this is the country's biggest scam, I want clarity from you why you say that.
I mean, I never make such blanket statements. I never make such blanket statements. It's not the way I function in politics. But there are certainly, in the light of what has already come on record, that in the case of people who were raided, in case against people who were being raided by the ED, and within months and within days, they purchased bonds and gave it to the political party, and nothing happened thereafter. Now, if as a journalist you think that's not a quid pro quo, that's really something that you must, ask yourself that question. But from any standpoint, obviously, there is a quid pro quo there. Now, I can't say that in every case there is a quid pro quo, but the fact is that the scheme was not transparent. So if a businessman or an industrialist or anybody else wanted to give money to a political party, he should have done it through check. That was also allowed. Why did he not do it through check? Why did he have to go and buy this bond? Naturally, because the intent of the scheme itself was to ensure that the political party in power gets enriched, which is why the BJP has got over 6,000 crores through these bonds, through this scheme, which allowed for non-disclosure of the donor.
Mr. Sibal,
It's obvious. It is obvious.
you know
It
what
was
you're
to
saying
enrich
is
the political
obvious, but
party. It is called an electoral bond. One second, let me just tell you. It is called an electoral bond, but it's nothing to do with elections.
No, but Mr. Sibal, the Home Minister of the country, Amit Shah, says BJP is the single largest party of the country, dominant party. It's bound to get the largest number of monies through bonds. The Finance Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, says the fact that companies which were raided then allegedly gave this bond money is an assumption. That it's not necessary that the ED stopped their inquiries against him. This is how the government is responding. How do you respond to what you're hearing from the Finance Minister and the Home Minister, sir?
So then prosecute everybody. Point is, what is it? I mean, the finance minister, I think, having been a finance minister for so many years, if her wisdom tells her that after the raid, the money given in bonds to a particular party has nothing to do with a quid pro quo, I salute the wisdom of the finance minister. That's all that I can say. That I'm really amazed at her wisdom and something to be lauded. But unfortunately, it's not consistent with common sense. That's all that I can say. And as far as the Home Minister is concerned, as far as the Home Minister is concerned, then all these people should have given to the political party and having their names disclosed, instead of saying, we'll not disclose our names, we want this bond and we'll give this money to a political party. What prevented anybody to disclose their names and give the money to the political party? Nothing prevented.
Nothing.
Anybody from doing that. They could have given a check.
Nothing.
Why did they have to buy a bond?
Nothing prevents them, Mr. Sibal, but that's the nub of the issue. It's all very well for us here to say that corporate should or individual should give by check to political parties, but you know better than anyone else that people are reluctant in the past to give by check because they fear that, for example, if they give it to the opposition, the government of the day, whether at the state or center, may target them. Therefore, according to your old friend Arun Jaitley, who brought in this, anonymity was seen as a way to encourage political parties to give money which otherwise would have gone underground and been given through cash. And the fear now is that we'll go back to that bad old system where the money goes underground because the Supreme Court has not yet given us a solution.
No, not at all. You can still give a check. You can...
Sir.
Incidentally, I don't want to argue here. You can still give a check. If I want to give money to a political party, and I've done so, in my capacity as a member of parliament, I've done so. And I've given a check. And I've disclosed my name to a political party. Nothing prevents anybody from... And I've not been prosecuted. Nothing prevents anybody from doing that. The fact of the matter
is... The fear factor prevents it.
Puerile about this. The fact of the matter is that every industrialist has a lot of work with the government on a daily basis. Some will get contracts. Some will sort of, get favors, all kinds of favors. Somebody would want his case to be closed. And therefore, you have a wonderful scheme in which you don't have to disclose your name and keep on giving money. And you think that the BJP did not know that they will get the maximum money? Of course they knew, because they are in power at the center. And through the exercise of that power, they can grant a lot of favors, as will be demonstrated very soon, because all these facts will emerge.
Sir, what?
The fact of the matter is, this is a scheme through which the BJP wanted to enrich itself, and it did enrich itself. There's no doubt about it. And they knew that it would enrich them. And they never used any of this for elections. They did it to build their offices. 1 second. They invested it in their offices, in their national networks.
Mr. Sibal?
They built this by booking airplanes, by getting people from one political party from flying from one place to another. They did it for all this. The money that is given to buy A, B, or C to defect from a political party is not given by check. It's given by cash. That happens anyway.
Sir, I take your point, but the fact also is that regional parties are also getting a large number of monies in these bonds, disproportionate according to the Home Minister. When you compare it to the number of MPs and MLAs that they have, many of the parties, Trinamool Congress, BRS, have also got a disproportionate amount of money, DMK. So it's not as if it's just the BJP here, isn't it?
I am not, look, anybody, any political party, if the scheme is actually launched, will take advantage of it. The question is not. The question is, what was the intent of the scheme? The question is, why the secrecy? The question is, why non-disclosure? The question is, why not bring it out in the open and give it to the party you want to give it in? Then you know what your affiliation is. What's the secrecy about it? And this is nothing to do with cash. This is white money. This is white money, and I can give a donation to anybody I want, a political party. But the fact is, that is also not an issue. You can give whatever money you want, but you can't get favors for it. And if we are able to establish that, and that's a matter of investigation, then it's a very serious matter, because then it's proceeds of crime, then it's money laundering, then the property has to be seized, then all that the law will follow.
Okay.
Right?
You're saying presumably that the anonymity is what is troubling you most. But may I ask you a final question, Mr. Sibal? Do you believe that the Supreme Court, while declaring these bonds unconstitutional, while asking SBI for all details, should have also provided what's the way forward? You're into an election. How are you going to encourage corporates now to provide by check? Do you believe this will now encourage people to once again take cash underground? Because in India, whether we like it or not, no one wants their names disclosed that they are funding political parties. Should the court be providing an alternate system? Should there be, next time when you appear in front of court, will you ask for a better system somewhere to be provided? Or are we doing out with the baby with the bathwater?
Let me answer that. Number one, it's not the job of the court to provide any system. It's the job of the political establishment. Okay? That's not the remit of the court. That's not the duty of the court. So don't keep the court out of it. Number two, I will tell you how it can easily be done. let all these industrialists give them whatever they want to donate, let them give it to the Election Commission. Okay, so you have, say, 6,000 crores to the Election Commission, given by all industrialists, all donors anywhere in the country. Then divide that amongst all the members of parliament who are going to fight elections equally. And you have no scam. And you have donations and nobody will be prosecuted or persecuted. There are very simple ways of dealing with it. But if you want clandestinely to enrich yourself, then you float such a scheme, which is what they did. I've given you a solution which is unexceptionable.
Right.
Where there will be no, nobody will be persecuted. Just give it to the Election Commission and distribute it amongst every member. And if BJP has more members, over 300 people, they'll get more money. But each member will get the same amount.
Right. Right. Well, it's
and
good.
It won't go to the party.
Okay. No, it's good that you're giving that solution, because the fear, of course, is that between rent-seeking politicians and companies and individuals seeking favors, the system has been corrupted. Now, you could argue that the election bonds enabled some to carry on with that corruption or legalized it in a way. Or you could say that, can we get an alternate system that will change the way campaigns are financed? But Kapil Sibal, as someone who's been involved in this case from the beginning, for joining me tonight, thank you very much for joining me and offering a solution that you have. Interesting solution there from Sibal. Take all the monies and give it to all the MPs openly, depending on the strength of each party.